I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points? I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get the sauce. Yo, what's up, everybody? I know we're not usually live at this time, so here's the plan. For the most of you probably already know, we're going through just the I want to say the five biggest, but 5 of the bigger games tomorrow. We'll be back 10 a.m. Eastern time for the normal Saturday morning show, and we're going through like 28, 29 games. So the normal Saturday morning show is tomorrow, same time. After this, these two guys, you know, Trev, the other guy's Elliot, who's one of the co-hosts at Pump Fake Pod. They're going to go over to their channel and go through the entire college basketball slate. So that's the plan. This is a little pregame show, and then they're going to take it over on their channel and go through games with teams I've never even heard of. So that's the plan. So let's start it off. By the way, tonight, if I get UConn, man, I might be having myself a nice little Friday night here. Let me just make sure the Pistons aren't blowing this. All right, they're up 22.
The Pistons are up 22?
Yeah, Pistons are up 22. I got my Hornets Spurs over because Miles Bridges hit a 3 with a second left to win the game.
Hold on, we're getting points. We got points with the Pistons, like what, right?
I got plus 3.5. I took the money line in the league, though. I got Purdue.
No, I tailed it. I just thought it was plus money. So when you said they were up 22, I thought maybe I misremembered what I actually bet.
We're comfortable.
Forget what I said.
So if I get UConn, I think I'm 4-0, unless I'm forgetting a bet. But all right.
At least you laid off Dayton. My God, that was
did not touch Dayton.
12-0 run the last 2.5 minutes.
Terrible.
Disgusting.
Welcome to my life.
All right. So first up, Tennessee on the road to Oklahoma, and the question I asked when this game first came up was, is he playing the Z-Man? Ziegler.
Ziegler,
yes.
Okay, I was going to say.
Is he not the Z-Man? I thought that was clear.
I don't know, but I like it. We'll go with Z-Man from here.
All right. Is the Z-Man playing?
He should. I think he played last game. He hurt, did he?
Yeah, he played 34 minutes their last game.
So he's officially back. I don't have to ask that question anymore.
Nope, no more.
In that case, Vols, right? Vols?
No, I'm probably going to be on a Schooner Island, but I think I like Oklahoma tomorrow. We'll let these two go because they probably know a little bit more than I do. But I was really, really looking at Oklahoma tomorrow.
Trev?
Yeah, I mean, what's his line? 5? Yeah, 5.5. It's
5.5.
It's so weird. I don't want to trust Moser. I get they're a dog at home, but they just played Auburn. So that's kind of just like a Houston 2.0 type of system. I mean, you get the shit beaten out of you. Now you're going home to play Tennessee, who also just does the same thing. I mean, I don't see how Tennessee's defense here doesn't lock down on Oklahoma. I mean, Moser just has not been good. I mean, they've dropped so many games. Their wins are South Carolina, Arkansas when they sucked, and after the win, and then Vanderbilt, which the Vanderbilt was a good win, but Vanderbilt pissed down their leg. They gave up like a 50-20 run, something like that, like after they were up. So it's kind of tough, but there's no way I would be on Oklahoma personally. I just don't trust their offense. I know Fears has been really good, but I don't trust it. Tennessee, they play lockdown defense. Defense travels. And their offense, you know, it's not pretty, but, you know, if they can hit a fair amount of shots, their defense should lock down. I mean, this could easily be like a 67 to like 58 game, something like that. I mean, I could see it. I just have no faith in Oklahoma's offense or defense really to stop. I know Tennessee's not great offensively right now, but Oklahoma's defense isn't great, and Tennessee does play good defense.
I'm putting Tennessee up for myself as well. Don't know if I actually bet it, but that's the side I want to be on. Elliot, are you with Toast or are you siding with Trev?
Yeah, no, I think I'm actually going to be here with Toast. We'll be the two-man island tomorrow. Tennessee, you know, they're 3 straight home games. Now they're going back out on the road. The biggest thing that concerns me is Oklahoma allows a lot of offensive rebounds, which I think that Tennessee can capitalize on. That's kind of the big thing with maybe holding me off of potentially betting this. But I'll be on Oklahoma plus the 5.5. I think it's a big time get up spot there in Norman for the fans, for the players. Tennessee might have a little look ahead spot when they go to Kentucky next. So it could be a little sleepy spot as well. So give me Oklahoma plus the 5.5.
So we're split.
I just wanted to add one thing is that part of the reason that had me looking towards Oklahoma is that I look at both of these teams' offenses. Obviously, we know that Tennessee has a really good defense, but are they going to be able to stay in the game offensively? And in their last 5 road games, they've shot under 42% as a team. They've shot under 29% from deep. And you have an Oklahoma team over their last 5 games that's home shooting almost 44% from deep. They effective field goal percentage of almost 64%. So this Oklahoma team is starting to find itself offensively. That's what's kind of making it intriguing to me. But I haven't bet it yet just because I want to see if we can get maybe 6.5.
Finding yourself.
Yeah, use my handy spreadsheets.
No, I get it. The spreadsheets are dope. I'm just saying, finding yourself offensively and scoring on the Tennessee defense is 2 different types of shit. Florida's a good offensive team. They look like trash in that game. This is next level defense.
That game was at home, so I mean,
defense travels.
Sure.
I've heard you say it.
Defense does travel.
I say that. Yes, I do.
Let's move on to the next one. We're split on this one. I don't know if I'm actually going to bet that.
I would maybe even like an under in that game. I'm not a total guy, but an
We
under
also this is the same Tennessee's team that scored 43 on the road at Florida. So, just saying.
No, how could you bet an under? You heard Toast. Oklahoma's finding themselves offensively.
Are they not? I mean, did we not just watch? Okay, you know what? Next game.
All right, Oregon, Michigan State. Maybe not the most exciting of games. Probably I shouldn't have chose this one. Maybe there's probably better options on the board. But I got to say, I owe a debt of gratitude to the Ducks. Everyone hated my Oregon plus 8.5 pick against Michigan. Everyone laughed at me. The comments were making fun of me. But I was left quacking and winning. They battled back in the second half. No one liked it. No one liked my Ducks pick.
I was on it with you.
You did say Oregon or pass or something.
I put it on my ticket. It was on my ticket.
Oh, you ended up betting Oregon?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not the type of person that if I'm done a kindness, I'm not going to turn my back. So Oregon hooked me up. I'm not going to just turn my back on Oregon. Everyone's going to be on Sparty here. I like what I saw Oregon about. I like how Oregon, all their success came in the second half of that game against Michigan, coming in with some momentum. This team believes they can win. I'm taking the plus 7.5. Is anyone with me?
Yeah, I'm going to take the 8 and probably 8.5 by the time this line climbs because everybody's going to be betting Michigan State, I would assume. So, but yeah, I'm totally with you catching 8. I don't know if they win this basketball game or not, but I'm definitely with you catching the points for sure.
Trev's on Michigan State. I can tell by looking at his face.
Yeah, I like Michigan State here. I mean, you got back-to-back losses on the West Coast. You just gave up the lead for the Big Ten conference. Now you come home to an inept Oregon team who, Michigan didn't turn over a bunch, but they managed to shoot and hang in this game. But Michigan State, the athletes they have are far more superior than Michigan's, in my opinion. Cohen Carr is an absolute beast. Jaden Akins, Fears, they've all been nice. Jackson Kohler's a solid player down low too. I think Oregon played pretty well the other night, but I think they're kind of walking into a buzzsaw here tomorrow. Michigan State's been shooting better from 3 in conference play. The turnovers are an issue, but Oregon doesn't force them, and Oregon also gives up turnovers, so I think they'll kind of wipe each other clean on that one. But I will take the Izzo at home off back-to-back losses, returning against an Oregon team that really hasn't shown much. They finally covered. I think that's 2 of their last 8 or something. 2 of their last 9 they've managed to cover, but they are still not a good team. So I will take Michigan in the bounce back spot at home here.
I don't think Izzo is adjusting to this Pac-12 Big Ten merger, man. He goes out west. Things don't go well for him out there. I just don't think he's comfortable with a team like the Ducks.
Also, yeah, Cohen Carr is like really athletic, but does he really worth anything? Like, what does he score? 5 points a game? Like, everybody acts like this guy's like Bo Jackson. Yeah, they're big, huge dunks, but they're still worth 2 points. Like, I mean, come on.
Yeah, but you're not factoring in the energy that dunk equates to also.
Okay.
Did someone say Mike?
Like 9 points. He's still not at double digits.
Did someone say Mike Izzo?
Did I say Mike Izzo? Oh, God, that was a joke on the TCE thing. It's just now it's stuck in my brain.
I didn't hear Mike Izzo, but Helms did. All right.
I can't wait for the Mike Izzo Reggie Bennett matchup in the Sweet 16.
Elliot, true or false, you're a believer in the Ducks?
True. I'm a believer in the Ducks. I'm a believer in Data Altman. I like him as a coach. This is going to be a very high-level coaching battle with two of probably the better coaches in the Big Ten. Still weird for me to say that the Oregon's in the Big Ten. But, I mean, Trevor brought up a point, Michigan State is shooting better from the three. They're still shooting 32%, 15th in the conference. So they're not really shooting the three ball very good. They might be shooting a little better, but 28 to 32%, I don't think makes too much of a difference. One thing that we've talked about before is Oregon likes to turn the ball over a lot, but Michigan State, they don't really like to turn you over. They play some solid defense, but they just don't like to turn you over. I think 7.5 is too much. I think Michigan State wins this game after dropping the two games in conference. They're on the road. They're going to have to bounce back. They're going to get a win, but it's definitely going to be, I say anywhere from 4 to 6 points. 7.5 is definitely too high. But I'm with Toast on this. I think you let this ride. It might get up to 8.5, 8.5, 9. People love them some Michigan State, but it's about a month too early for me to be back in Izzo every game. Once Izzo in March, yeah, that's a different story.
I love it.
Kyle, you need to put up the fake sharp tags and right above all you guys.
This is real. This is a real sharp. On the Michigan State side,
that's
is everybody in the world, every casual bettor in the world, and Trevor. And on the Oregon side is us three. Let's move on.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
Even the public wins.
Even 73%. Even our voters, everyone's voting Michigan State. No one respects the Ducks.
No, they don't.
I will say also, another good angle that I've been playing is teams that are on their second game of their road trip, east to west or west to east in that Big Ten. They typically do better in that second game. I've been fading a lot on those ACC teams and the Big Ten teams that when they go east to west, I fade them the first game and then I bet them the second game, and it's been a pretty good trend so far for me this year.
All right,
tomorrow
we got a good one here. So when I look at this game, this is the first thing that comes to mind. Obviously, I think of the Florida road game on the road at Tennessee that we just saw. What happened in that game? Florida couldn't score points. So I understand why the line's 9.5. This Auburn team is not quite the same as Tennessee defensively, though. So my first gut instinct when I look at this game, shootout. Auburn wins 190 over.
That's kind of what I was thinking as well.
For real?
I had over 154.5 circled. I think it's 154 or 155, whatever it is. But I did have that circled. I haven't betted yet. I was kind of curious to hear what these guys' thoughts are because it is the jungle, and the rules. You don't fade Auburn at the jungle, but that's a lot of points for a Florida team that's pretty damn good that I should think match up quite well with this Auburn team. So I'm kind of curious to hear what these guys have to say because, I mean, the only thing that really worries me is that Florida's a horrible free throw shooting team, and this game's close. Them in the jungle late. I don't want them on the line having to cover this number for me. But, I kind of lean over in Florida. I know that's crazy as that sounds.
Juice is on Florida in the comments. He's saying chomp, chomp. He actually typed the word chomp 4 times. So that means like 4 units or I don't know. If you speak fluent Juice, you know what that means. Trev, before you get into it, what are your thoughts on my overlean? Do you agree?
I don't hate it. Florida doesn't play any defense. Auburn can really run it up on you. So, I mean, Auburn could win this game 100 to 72, no problem. I mean, it is what it is. But I like Auburn here. I know Florida has been good offensively. Like they've been able to hang in games via their offense, but they don't play defense. And now you're going to go to the jungle where defense travels. And if you don't have defense, you're traveling without a defense already. Now you got to go face Janae Broom, Baker Mazzara, and company in the jungle at home. I don't like it. I think this spread's pretty high for a reason. I think they're going to end up winning by 15, 20 plus. It's just going to be, tight game maybe through the first half, and then all of a sudden that second half, the jungle really kicks in, and you're gonna see exactly why they call it the jungle, because Florida's just going to get sent out of this game, no problem. So I kind of like Auburn here to run it up in the second half on them.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to unsee. I watched the entire me and Toast was here. I watched the entire Auburn Ole Miss game, and Ole Miss played so well in that game, and it's kind of hard to unsee that. It kind of makes me feel like even if Florida comes out and plays their best basketball game, that Auburn is still capable of covering this number, even if Florida shows up with their best fastball.
Well, I 100% agree with that. And also add on, and I forgot to say that the reason that I couldn't actually bet Florida is that we don't know the status of Walter Clayton. He missed their last game. He's by far their most important player. And if he's not, I mean, I don't even think he's going to be 100% if he plays. And that could be a huge concern. So now that I think about that, yeah, it's kind of hard to get to Florida until you know his status.
I like the over.
He will be available.
Will be available, says Trev. But what does that mean exactly? To what
exactly?
Ross
he's not 100.
Will be available. That's all he said. So
all.
I guess it might be a head fake here to be like, hey, they're going to play him, and maybe he sits out last second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put an Auburn graphic up for me, Sauce.
All right. What about Elliot?
Yeah, so I like this game. I like to play. I'll play Auburn -9.5, but I'll also play the over as well. I feel like it's going to be one of those games where if Auburn does win by 10, the over's probably going to hit. If Florida stays in the game, the over's going to hit. So it kind of protects me there, but I could probably win both and still get the cover for Auburn and go 2-0. If not, I'll be 1-1. I just think it's a very interesting clash of teams with more of a guard heavy attack in Florida and then more of a forward heavy attack in Auburn. So I think that they can both get each other in different aspects. So I think points can definitely be scored in this, but I also think, in the jungle on a Saturday, Auburn can run away with it there at the end. But it'll be interesting to see how they attack each other. I think Florida's guards, Todd Pettiford is really good for Auburn, but the trio of guards for Florida, and then Janai Broom and Baker Mazzara, they should be able to handle themselves pretty good against Condon down low for Florida. So that's kind of how I like to attack it. I'll be on Auburn -9.5, but also the over as well.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You guys confirmed how I was feeling, because I feel like that Tennessee game is making Florida's offense look worse than it actually is. And Tennessee, remember, was injured in that game. And I think that game also didn't reveal how bad Florida's defense could potentially be here. And Auburn is the perfect team to exploit it.
The issue with that Florida thing is that they haven't been good. The Tennessee game on the road, they weren't good offensively. The South Carolina game, they weren't good offensively. Arkansas, they weren't good offensively. So they have shown tendencies to struggle a little bit offensively on the road.
All right, we got two more games here, and we're going to the ACC. Kind of a short number, but Clemson is tough. I would imagine everyone's taking to. That game against North Carolina, the whole world watched that. Duke stock, as far as the public perception, is now through the roof after that North Carolina game. Had to be one of their more watched games of the year, primetime on Saturday. And, it wasn't just the fact that it was like a huge game that everyone watched. It's that it all happened so fast. You turn that game on, the game tipped off. 5 minutes in, it was like 25-6, and we had seen like 4 Cooper flag highlights. We've seen 3-point shots raining in, block shots, fast breaks, like points at trend. It was like a highlight reel in the first 5 minutes. So everybody who was just tuning in, be like, let's see what this Duke team really is, because not everyone's watching college basketball every night. So as far as like the public perception, let's sit down and watch Cooper flag. Within 5 minutes, you're like, okay, this is like the best team I've ever seen. So as far as like a sell high spot, no, dead ass though. That's like, because this is coming from somebody who's maybe watched 1 or 2 Duke games all year. And when Toast was here Saturday, I sat down and I was like, yo, let's sit down and watch this Duke team. And 5 minutes into the game, it was like what the point I'm making is Duke stock is at an all-time high. And if there was a sell high spot on Duke stock, it would be ahora. Right now, I'm not saying I'm going to do it. I'm just sharing my thoughts. That's all. Who wants the bat lead off in this one?
I already played over, but you can go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, Clemson money line.
Woo!
I love it, dude.
It makes me feel even better that Clemson lost that triple overtime game to Georgia Tech. Everybody's going to be, all on Duke. Just exactly what you said. All on Duke with the showings that they've had. Clemson's had this game circled. Place is going to be crazy. I like Clemson to win it outright.
Let's do it. I'm putting it up, too. I'm doing it. Sell high. Toast, you with us.
I played the over because I did think that this was a spot that I think that Clemson, you're going to see an all-out effort from Clemson. So I played, it was my first bet of the day. I made it over 134.5. I think that we don't have to worry about Duke's offense. I think that they're going to put up points regardless. They've only really had one game on the road this year where they struggled to score points, and that was against the Wake Forest game. But besides that, that was like the only game that didn't clear this 134 number by far. Clemson's not a team that offensively really scares you a ton either. But again, I do think that this is kind of like agree with you guys in a little bit of a sell high spot with Duke. But like I said, I think that's more of a sell high spot on their offense. I think that Clemson's offense comes to play today. So if we get some points from Clemson, which I assume we're going to get, I bank on points from Duke no matter what. So over 134.5.
As far as the viewers, our group here, everyone's thinking the same. So Wags, as soon as we flip to the game, Wags says he's on the over. So Wags on the over too. Then Juice chimes in. He says, I'm sprinkling Clemson money line and taking the over. So there's, as far as our group, it seems like everyone's circling the same idea. Enter Trev, who's about to say take Duke minus 7.5.
Yeah, Clemson is going to a little hezzy hey. Clemson is going to have this game circled. I mean, like Elliot said, I love that they lost that. I mean, I live bet Georgia Tech in overtime, so I don't like Clemson in overtime, so I didn't like that. But I like that they lost this game. I mean, now they're extremely desperate. You had a chance to, and essentially just tie up Duke here for the conference. Now, no matter what, you'll be a game back. If not, this conference is all but over for Duke unless they slip up and start dropping games at the end here. So this is a absolute must-have game, similar to that Dayton spot tonight, which they pissed away. But Clemson needs this game. Shefflin is a dude. Doesn't look like an athlete, but man, he can play, and he'll have his hands full with Cooper. But I think he'll be able to handle his thing. I mean, Victor Locken's a big guy. Chase Hunter. They have pieces, and this total here kind of implies that Clemson makes this a half-court game, no transitions. They're not going to be running and gunning the whole time here. They're going to make Duke work for everything, and I think Duke is due for a flat spot. I know they went to Wake Forest. They also had a little rough spot there against Duke. It was a 7-point game or so. I mean, on the road at Syracuse, that was easy money, but they've just on the road is when they're most vulnerable, which hasn't been much, but that's their spot that they show you. You're not going into Cameron Indoor to get them. So this is the spot for Clemson. I will have a little money line also. Probably going to put them in a money line dog round robin for the day also, but I'm waiting on this. I'm going to see if this goes up. You got to imagine people are going to be betting Duke on the short number here to get this done after what they've seen. And we did see the Wake Forest game was like a 11, 12-point spread or something, and it ended up getting pretty tight here. So if Wake Forest can do that in a get-up spot, Clemson definitely can at home too.
3 out of the 4 of us putting up a plus 240 money line against Duke. I love it. You love to see it. Might get some angry comments if Duke wins by 30.
You know who else I like is that Chauncey Wiggins kid from Clemson as well.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
Hunter and Shefflin have to have big games, otherwise they're going to lose by 30. That's for damn sure. If one of them doesn't show up, they're cooked.
Chauncey Wiggins, that's an NBA name right there. Chauncey Wiggins. Phillips.
I know, and he's like really starting to heat up. He's like starting to heat up from deep their last 3 games.
All right, last game up, and then we'll send it over to these guys to take it away. Texas Tech, Arizona, and it's kind of weird. I feel like both these teams are kind of in a sell high. You got Texas Tech, who comes off like the big upset win, right? Then they beat Baylor. I guess you could say comfortably. They covered, right? I wasn't really like a blowout, but they did.
They covered comfortably. It was pretty much a blowout for the most part. But Baylor was. I mean, they didn't have their best player like Edgecombe. Roach was in his first game back. They just didn't look good.
So you got Texas Tech, who's, let's say, like due for a letdown, but also Arizona. Like, how high can they keep? I feel like the same thing about Arizona. I don't know. I guess Arizona still.
Keep in mind, Texas Tech beat this Arizona team by 20 last month at home. So
is Arizona still on that heater? Have they lost yet?
No, 5 in a row. The last loss was Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Oh, Arizona's going to win this, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, but do you want to lay 3.5 is the question.
It's up to 3.5.
And the answer is yes. I'm on Arizona.
The answer is yes.
I'm not stepping in front of the train.
I guess it's 2.5. I guess it's 2.5 right now. But go ahead, Trevor. When are you guys? I think I'm too much in love with this Arizona team to make a real pick.
Yeah, no, I'm on Arizona here. I mean, this is a revenge spot. They've been playing really good ball. I know Texas Tech has. With the Houston win, they followed up with Baylor. They've won 1, 2, 3, 7 in a row also. So they're due a little stinker here, but they're a good team. Arizona just revenge spots. I've been a big surveyor of revenge spots this year. I've been betting them, and it's been going well. I mean, you get spots where it's a flat like some spots, but Arizona, much better team. Caleb Love has been really, really good. Trey Townsend is a solid player. KJ Lewis too. Now Caleb Love is going to shoot it 15, 20 times. It's just a matter of will they go in or will he stay ice cold? I mean, Iowa State, he couldn't hit shit, and then he hit that half-court shot for overtime, and then he couldn't miss an overtime, and they won by 10. So if Caleb Love can hit shots, they're not going to have a problem with this game. It comes down to will he? That's the whole thing. But in a revenge spot at home, prime time on ESPN national TV, I believe that's probably like one of the only games for the Power 5 at that hour. So everybody will be watching it. So I'll take the Wildcats at home in the McHale Center, looking to get some revenge on the Red Raiders.
I'm doing the same thing. So we got Juice in the comments. He says Red Raiders, and then comments again and said, never mind, I'm switching to Arizona. So that's Juice out there.
Also, Arizona at home has been an absolute juggernaut. I don't think they've played a 2-possession game at home this year. I mean, they won by 9 against. Yeah, I was gonna say Okay, in conference. How's that then? So yeah,
Conference,
but either way, yeah, they got blown out by Duke. But besides that, they've been like almost unbeatable at the McHale Center. So yeah.
Is everyone on Arizona here? Ellie, you on Arizona?
Yeah. I'll be on Arizona here too as well. A big thing to note, just to kind of look out for, JT Toppin for Texas Tech. He rolled his ankle in that Baylor game at the very end of the first half. Got it taped up, came back in, but left early. Usually if you get a player that rolls his ankle and then can't really continue, that could be, in terms of maybe them missing a week or so. The fact that he was able to go back into the game is good. But the fact that he left without being able to finish the game means that he might be out tomorrow. So just keep that in mind if you're wanting to bet Texas Tech possibly. So if he does get ruled out, obviously this line will go up. So I'm on Arizona right now for sure.
And Toast said he's in love with Arizona, so I'm assuming that's the way he's leaning as well.
Yeah, I've already bet Arizona minus 2.5. So I was kind of waiting to see if I could get a little bit of a cheaper money line, but knowing how Arizona has played at home doesn't worry me. And also, Toppin's hurt, and then I expect Darian Williams to play, but he also missed a game against TCU. So they are. I would, regardless of what you read, I think that Texas Tech's a little bit banged up as well. So we'll see after playing Houston and Baylor back to back, now traveling on the road to see where they're at. I just don't really like that spot for them, especially in a revenge spot for Arizona.
Cool.
I'm hoping that Arizona will get the win, so then when they face the real Wildcats on Tuesday, we can show what the real Wildcats are.
All right.
I'm hoping that Caleb Love continues to shoot the way he shot. He shot like 50% from 3 the last couple nights, our last 2 games combined. So I hope that continues.
All right. So it is now 10:02. We went through the 5 games. Are you guys going live like right now?
Yep.
Yeah, pretty soon.
All right, I'm putting the link in there. Just type in Pump Fake Pod. You'll see me and Toast in there in the comments. The rest of my night is placing bets and watching that show. So I'll be in there. All right, cool. Thanks, everyone, for watching. See you all in the morning at 10 a.m. and see you in the comments if you're hopping over to Pump Fake Pod. Later, guys.
See ya.
Okay, guys.